There's a truth most people never confront, a truth that silently shapes the way the world responds to you. It's uncomfortable, even painful, but it's real. People do not respect who you wish you were. They respect who you choose to be. Every day, you walk into rooms, conversations, and situations that quietly measure you. Not by your intentions, not by your hopes, not even by the potential you know you have, but by the energy you carry, the discipline you live with, and the inner strength you project through your actions. Most people wander through life unaware of this reality. They wait for respect. They expect respect. They hope respect will arrive simply because they are kind, helpful, or good-hearted. But the Stoics understood something the rest of the world often ignores. Respect is not given, it is earned through mastery of the self. You might not notice it, but people are constantly reading you. They read your posture, your words, your reactions, your ability to stay calm when others collapse. They observe the way you respond to adversity, to conflict, to challenge. They notice how you carry your responsibilities, or how you run from them. And whether they say it aloud or not, they decide. Is this someone I can rely on? Is this someone I admire? Is this someone I respect? The truth is, respect doesn't come from trying to impress others. It comes from the quiet, disciplined work you do within yourself, long before anyone is watching. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be one. Respect is a reflection of who you are when no one is looking. It's built in silence, revealed in behavior, and felt instantly by everyone around you. But here's the harshest truth of all. You might be sabotaging your own respect without even realizing it. When you doubt yourself, people feel it. When you lose control of your emotions, people withdraw from you. When you break your own promises, people stop believing in your words. When you live without discipline, people notice the chaos long before you do. Respect begins with the self. If you don't command your own mind, your own reactions, your own habits, how can you expect the world to see you as someone worth following? The Stoics never asked, "How can I make people respect me?" They asked, "What kind of person must I become so that respect is the natural response?" This is where your transformation begins. Not in seeking validation, but in becoming the kind of person who doesn't need it. Because when you embody truth, discipline, and emotional strength, respect is not demanded, it is undeniable. Today, you will learn the 9 Stoic secrets that change the way people see you instantly. Secrets that shift your presence, your energy, your inner power. But first, you must be willing to confront the reality of where you stand right now. Are you living as the person you want the world to respect? Or are you living as a shadow of the strength you know you possess? Only you can answer that question. And only you can begin the transformation. Respect is not lost in a single moment. It erodes slowly, quietly, through the choices you make every day. You already know this feeling. That moment when someone talks over you. When people overlook your opinion. When your presence doesn't carry the weight you wish it did. You feel it in conversations where your voice is ignored. You feel it in relationships where your kindness is taken for granted. You feel it in the silence after you speak. That silence that tells you your words didn't land the way you hoped. It hurts, not because you want to dominate others, but because deep down, you know you were meant to be more than this. But the Stoics teach a critical reframe, a shift in perspective that changes everything. Respect is not a reaction from others. Respect is a mirror of your inner state. If your mind is chaotic, your presence will be chaotic. If your emotions control you, people will avoid your instability. If you break your own boundaries, people will break them too. If your life lacks structure, your relationships will lack respect. Epictetus said it clearly, "No man is free who is not master of himself." People don't respect what you say. They respect what you embody. You can speak with confidence, but if your actions betray insecurity, people feel the gap even when you don't. You can preach discipline, but if your habits contradict your words, Your message becomes empty. You can try to appear strong, but if your emotions own you, everyone sees the cracks beneath the surface. And here is the painful truth most never accept. People treat you exactly the way you have trained them to treat you. When you overgive, you teach people that your time is cheap. When you tolerate disrespect, you teach people that your boundaries are optional. When you apologize for existing, you teach people that you are not someone to be taken seriously. When you shrink yourself to avoid conflict, you teach people that your presence holds no strength. But here is the beauty hidden inside this pain. If you train people to disrespect you, you can retrain them to respect you. Respect is not about force. It is not about raising your voice, proving your worth, or demanding recognition. It is about shifting your center of gravity, the inner strength from which you operate. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." This means your respect is not in the hands of others. It is in your hands. It always was. You earn respect when you become someone who cannot be shaken by opinions, moods, or external chaos. You earn respect when your actions match your words. You earn respect when your presence carries clarity, self-control, and intention. You earn respect when you stop asking the world for permission to be yourself. The pain you feel when people overlook you is not a sign of weakness. It is a signal, a call to rise. Because beneath that pain is a truth the Stoics understood deeply. Respect is the result of inner mastery. If you want the world to see you differently, you must first see yourself differently. And that transformation begins with the 9 principles you're about to learn. But before we move forward, take a moment and ask yourself, are you seeking respect from the world? Or are you ready to build the kind of strength that naturally draws it? If there is one trait that instantly elevates the way people perceive you, it is this: your ability to remain calm when others fall apart. In a world where most people react impulsively, where anger erupts without warning, where insecurity leaks through every word, where emotions dictate decisions, the one who remains composed becomes magnetic. People cannot explain it, but they feel it. They sense stability in you. They sense strength. They sense something rare. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it." This is the essence of Stoic composure, the ability to stay centered not because life is easy, but because your mind does not bend to chaos. Think about the last time someone lost control in front of you. Maybe they panicked. Maybe they overreacted. Maybe they allowed their emotions to hijack their judgment. Did you respect them more afterward? Or did something inside you pull back? We admire those who can withstand pressure without cracking. We respect those who face uncertainty without collapsing. We trust those who don't allow the world to dictate their internal state. Because calmness is more than an emotion. It is a form of mastery. But here is the difficult truth. Most people are not calm because they are strong. They are calm only when circumstances are convenient. The moment life challenges them, their mask falls. The Stoic doesn't operate this way. A Stoic trains for pressure. A Stoic prepares for difficulty. A Stoic sees every challenge as a test of their inner strength. When someone insults you, your calmness shows you are not controlled by the opinions of others. When a situation becomes stressful, your calmness shows you trust yourself to handle it. When conflict arises, your calmness shows emotional intelligence, not fear. People instantly respect the person who does not react to provocation. Why? Because emotional control signals maturity. It signals leadership. It signals power. It tells the world, I am the master of my inner world. Nothing outside of me dictates who I am. And in that moment, you rise above the average person, the person who is still a prisoner of their impulses. Seneca said, "He who is brave is free." Freedom is not the absence of obstacles. Freedom is the mastery of your response to them. When people see that you do not crumble under stress, they trust you more. They listen more closely. They treat you differently. They respect you instantly. Because composure is a rare currency. It communicates strength without words. It commands attention without effort. It asserts authority without aggression. But here is the challenge. You will only develop unshakable composure when you stop outsourcing your emotional state to situations, to people, to outcomes, to anything external. Your calmness is your responsibility. Your stability is your practice. Your composure is your power. And once you cultivate it, you will begin to notice something remarkable. People naturally defer to you. People speak more carefully around you. People trust your judgment. People admire your presence. Not because you demanded respect, but because your calmness revealed that you deserve it. This is the first Stoic secret, and one of the most transformative. There is a silent force that shapes the way people treat you. It is not your kindness. It is not your intelligence. It is not your generosity. It is your boundaries. And here is the harsh truth. People will treat you exactly the way you allow them to. Most of the disrespect you experience in life does not come from cruelty. It comes from habit, from patterns, from the unspoken rules you set when you failed to set any rules at all. When you say yes while your heart screams no. You train people to ignore your limits. When you tolerate behavior that drains you. You signal that your energy is cheap. When you shrink yourself to avoid conflict. You teach others that your presence does not need to be considered. And when you fail to protect your own needs, you give silent permission for the world to overlook them. The Stoics understood this deeply. Epictetus said, "You become what you give your attention to." If you constantly give your attention to people who disrespect your time, you become someone who doesn't value it. If you always prioritize the needs of others over your own well-being, you become someone who no longer knows what your own needs are. If you chase approval, you become someone who is shaped by the expectations of others, never by your own values. But the moment you set boundaries, clear, firm, consistent boundaries, everything begins to change. Because boundaries are not walls. They are mirrors. They reflect the standard you hold for yourself. They reflect what you will accept and what you will no longer tolerate. They reflect the level of respect you believe you deserve. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts." When you hold yourself in high regard, you begin to act differently. You speak differently. You move differently. And most importantly, people respond to you differently. But here is the painful part of this principle. Setting boundaries often means disappointing people who are benefiting from your lack of them. Some will call you selfish. Some will call you distant. Some will make you feel guilty. Some will try to pull you back into the role that served them, not you. But the Stoic path is not about pleasing others. It is about aligning your life with your values, even when it requires discomfort. Because boundaries are not about controlling others. They are about controlling yourself. They are about choosing where your energy goes. They are about honoring your dignity. And dignity commands respect far more than niceness ever will. When you begin to say, "No, I won't allow that. No, I won't justify myself. No, I won't sacrifice my peace to comfort your chaos," something powerful happens. People begin to see you differently. They begin to treat you differently. They begin to respect you instantly. Not because you asked for respect, but because your boundaries demonstrated that you already have it for yourself. The world adjusts to the standards you enforce. Not the standards you think about. Not the standards you hope for. Not the standards you silently wish others would recognize. Only the ones you enforce. And when you do, The right people remain. The wrong people reveal themselves. And you step into a life guided not by fear of rejection, but by respect for your own worth. This is the second Stoic secret. Respect begins where self-betrayal ends. If there is one quality that instantly elevates you above most people, one trait that silently commands admiration, one force that reshapes how others perceive you, it is discipline. Not talent, not charm, not intelligence, not luck. Discipline, because discipline is the evidence of self-respect. It is the proof that you take your life seriously. It is the quiet declaration that you refuse to live on autopilot. Most people live reactively. They move only when pushed. They act only when pressured. They change only when forced by circumstances. But a disciplined person moves with intention, with clarity, with purpose. Their life is not a series of accidents. It is a series of choices. Seneca wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." People respect discipline because they know how difficult it is. They know how rare it is. They know the inner strength it requires. Anyone can say they want to improve. Anyone can dream. Anyone can make promises. But discipline is proof. Proof that you do not just speak your values. You live them. Think about the people you admire in life. The ones whose presence carries weight. The ones who walk into a room and instantly shift the atmosphere. They are not respected because they demand it. They are respected because their habits reflect something undeniable. This person governs themselves. This person follows through. This person can be trusted. Discipline radiates through everything you do. When you wake up early with intention. When you follow your routines, even when you don't feel like it. When you pursue mastery instead of comfort. When you honor your commitments, especially the ones you make to yourself. People notice. They may not comment. They may not praise you. But they feel it. Your discipline becomes a form of silent leadership. Because the person who masters themselves becomes someone others naturally look to. Not out of obligation, but out of admiration. And here is the deeper truth the Stoics understood. Discipline creates freedom. Freedom from impulsiveness. Freedom from emotional chaos. Freedom from procrastination. Freedom from the version of yourself that once held you back. Marcus Aurelius reminded himself daily. At dawn, when you rise unwillingly, let this thought be present. I am rising to do the work of a human being. A disciplined person does not wait for inspiration. They act because it is who they are. They move because their identity demands it. They show up because their values lead them, not their moods. And the world respects that. Instantly. Why? Because discipline signals reliability. Because discipline reveals strength. Because discipline proves you are not controlled by weakness, distraction, or fleeting emotion. People may not say it aloud, but when they see someone with discipline, they think, this is someone who can be trusted. This is someone who follows through. This is someone who respects themselves. And respect flows naturally toward those who embody this quality. But here is the most important part. Discipline is not perfection. It is not rigidity. It is not self-punishment. Discipline is the daily expression of self-respect. Every disciplined action whispers, I deserve better. I will become better. I refuse to betray myself. When you live this way, your presence changes. Your energy changes. Your confidence changes. Your life changes. And people feel it before they ever understand it. This is the third Stoic secret. Discipline is the foundation upon which respect is built. There comes a moment in your life when you stop looking outward for validation and begin turning inward for direction. A moment when you realize that respect, real, lasting respect, does not come from perfection, performance, or approval. It comes from alignment. Alignment between what you say and what you do. Between what you know and how you live. Between who you are and who you are becoming. This is where your personal power begins to awaken. Because the truth is, you've spent years carrying expectations that were never yours. You've measured your worth through the eyes of others, hoping they would see your effort, your heart, your potential. But people rarely respect what you tell them. They respect what you embody. So pause for a moment and look inward. Ask yourself, who am I when no one is watching? What standards do I hold myself to? Which values do I live consistently, not occasionally? Marcus Aurelius often wrote to himself, not because he needed an audience, but because he understood that self-respect is built in private long before it is recognized in public. He reminded himself daily to return to virtue, to clarity, to mastery of the self. And that is your task as well. The deeper truth is this: respect is not something you chase. It is something you grow into. It happens slowly, quietly, in the moments where you choose courage instead of comfort, presence instead of distraction, restraint instead of impulse, discipline instead of excuse. Every time you choose the higher path, you strengthen your identity. And as your identity strengthens, your presence changes. You begin to move differently, speak differently, carry yourself differently. This is not arrogance. This is alignment. People can sense when someone is congruent within themselves. Your energy becomes grounded. Your words hold weight. Your silence becomes meaningful. Your boundaries become respected, not resisted. Why? Because you finally respect yourself. And once that happens, the world reorganizes around you. But here is the part most people overlook. Respect is not just about how others see you. It's about how you see yourself. When you look in the mirror, do you see someone you trust? Someone you admire? Someone you can rely on? Someone who keeps their promises, even the silent ones? If not, this is your turning point. Because the Stoics believed that self-mastery is the highest form of power. Not control over others. Not dominance or intimidation. But sovereignty over your own mind, your own choices, your own reactions. The moment you stop being ruled by emotion, distraction, insecurity, or external noise, you reclaim the throne of your inner world. And when you reach that point, respect follows not as a reward, but as a natural consequence. So take a deep breath and reflect. You are no longer becoming someone who wants respect. You are becoming someone who embodies it. Through your emotional composure, through your discipline, through your clarity, through your refusal to abandon your values, through your willingness to rise again and again. This is your evolution, not toward a louder version of yourself, but toward a deeper, stronger, more grounded one. You are stepping into personal power, the kind that cannot be taken, shaken, or diminished. And as you grow into this new identity, the world will notice, quietly, gradually, inevitably. But more importantly, you will notice. This is the silent transformation the Stoics spoke of. The shift from seeking respect to earning it through becoming worthy of it. There is a point in every Stoic journey where the lessons you've learned stop being ideas and start becoming your identity. A point where you no longer try to be disciplined. You simply are. Where you no longer attempt to be calm. You naturally remain composed. Where you no longer seek respect. You carry yourself in a way that makes it inevitable. This is the moment you are moving toward now. A quiet yet profound shift in who you are becoming. Because the 9 Stoic secrets you've learned are not techniques. They are not tricks. They are not strategies to get others to admire you. They are principles that shape your inner world, and in doing so, reshape the outer one. The Stoics always taught that transformation begins within. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Very little is needed to make a happy life, It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. And now you understand why. When your mind becomes disciplined, your actions follow. When your actions become consistent, your character strengthens. When your character strengthens, your presence deepens. And when your presence deepens, people feel it. Respect is not something you demand or even request. It is something you attract, simply by living in alignment with your highest values. Epictetus reminded his students that the foundation of all greatness is mastery over oneself. No person is free who is not master of themselves. This is the path you are on, a path where you no longer react impulsively, a path where you no longer betray your own standards, a path where your emotions serve you instead of sabotage you, a path where you walk with clarity instead of confusion. And the truth is simple. The world respects those who respect themselves. The world values those who value themselves. The world follows those who follow their principles. The world admires those who quietly master their inner life. This is who you are becoming. Every moment of composure, every disciplined choice, every boundary you uphold, every truth you stand by, every standard you refuse to lower, is shaping you into a person others naturally respect. Not out of fear, not out of obligation, but out of recognition. Recognition of your strength, recognition of your integrity, recognition of your self-governance, recognition of the quiet power that comes from living a stoic life. You are no longer the person who seeks external validation. You are no longer the person who bends to the expectations of others. You are no longer the person who betrays wisdom for comfort. You are becoming someone grounded, someone disciplined, someone steady, someone who stands tall, not loudly, but unmistakably. This is your identity shift. From someone trying to earn respect, to someone who naturally inspires it. Carry these stoic secrets with you, not as rules, but as reflections of who you now are. Move through the world with composure. Walk with purpose. Speak with clarity. Act with intention. Live with virtue. And watch how the world responds. Quietly, gradually, unavoidably. Because respect is not something you chase. Respect is the shadow of the person you have become.